So we have a very large unhauling. We're gonna call this the Great Unhauling. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erica. We're here to do my Great Unhauling. I recently reorganized the shelves. Had a whole bunch of books I got for Christmas that I wanted to make room for, as well as get rid of books that I either was never just gonna read, they've been here too long, I read, didn't really like them, so on and so forth, or I have multiple copies. My method is really no method. First up is probably what I thought was going to be my most exciting read of last year, because it was my first sprayed edge book to add to my collection that didn't require a subscription, and that was Sanctuary of the Shadow. Was this the worst book I've ever read? No. Do I think that this book was very much misadvertised, misgenred? Yes. It was definitely labeled as a epic fantasy, and while obviously it did have fantasy aspects and a magic system and all that other stuff, it was not heavily emphasized. There wasn't a lot of world building, there wasn't a lot of anything. This was basically a romantasy. Heavy on the romance part. That is it. It was cute. It was pretty. It is a circus themed book. I don't know. Some people aren't really into that. It'll bother me none. But yeah. Bye. Next is the entirety of the From Blood and Ash series that's been released so far. Did I hate these books? No. I read them all. I enjoyed them. I did feel like the plot was very repetitive in these books. But then when I started branching off in the reading order that I was doing and started getting to the Flesh and Fire series, holy repetition plot, because what? Literally Flesh and the Fire is From Blood and Ash. From Blood and Ash is Flesh and Fire. The main male character, the main female character, literally the same. The storyline's the same, starts out the same. Some girl who's a chosen and blah, 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 blah. And she wears a veil and all this other stuff. And she ends up with some vampire. It was too repetitive. Too repetitive. And so I finished the first two books of the Flesh and Fire series. I completed all of these. And I just decided that I will no longer be continuing this series. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. It was too much. Similarities, too much, over and over and over again. It was just... And my bestie loves this series. Loves it. And so, you know, it kind of gutted me that I just did not feel the same. So, goodbye. The next is a book that my bestie gave me, so I feel bad about as well. But I just never read it. And I just don't think I'm ever gonna read it. I know everyone raves about this series. This is The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I think there are 3 books now by Carissa Broadbent. I just don't wanna. I just don't wanna. I don't have any other explanation. If I decide to read it, I'll just do it on my Kindle. I had other books that I had bought that I really wanted to make room for, and several books in this dehauling will be this way as well. I just don't wanna. The next book that I'm dehauling is another one that I have not read, but it's been on my shelf a long time, and that is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. These covers are stunning. Okay, and the naked covers are even more stunning. Do I think that I would enjoy this? Yeah, probably. But it kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth, because this book was a part of a book club that I had joined with a bunch of locals. And I was so excited. I'm a stay-at-home mom. And so I have I don't have a big friends group. I don't have a whole lot of family. And so I was super excited about getting to know some people and making some friends. And I just constantly feel like I'm just so alone and isolated. And I was so excited to step out my comfort zone and be a part of this book club. A friend of mine who has a very large following put it out there that she was starting a book club for locals in our area. And we got an overwhelming response. And there were some people in the group who were not happy with that response, and they felt like it was taking away the whole point of it. This was the last book we were supposed to do together, and there was a big old explosion and a lot of drama. And then it reminded me why I never really had a lot of girls as friends, because it was way too much. So I never read it, and I don't want to read it because it just... So I bid you adieu. Next one is another one by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I basically dehauled my entire catalog, but this is not the first dehauling I've done. I did another one right before Christmas, and I got rid of the entire Covenant series. And now I'm getting rid of the Fall of Ruin and Wrath. After the Flesh and Fire and the From Blood and Ash, I don't want to read it because I'm afraid that everything that's one writes probably all sounds the same. Especially books like this that look very similar to From Blood and Ash, and they sound very similar from... No, I'm good. I love that people love JLA, but I don't think she is for me. So goodbye. The next one is a book that I bought based off of peer pressure. And what I mean when I say that was, I was at a bookstore with a friend that I was, you know, it was a new friendship or whatever, and like she was buying a whole bunch of books and I had no books in my hand. There wasn't really anything that I wanted, and I remembered her, God, I'm such a loser. I remember her raving about how good this book was. This is The Shadow Cabinet by Juno Dawson. I was really excited about this. I love a good witchy thing. My favorite American Horror Story is obviously The Coven, but then I realized that this was book 2. This was book 2, and it has sat on my shelf forever, and I'm not interested enough in reading it at this moment that I wanted to take up room on these shelves. You know, I got sacred real estate here until we get our other set of built-ins done in our living room remodel. So this one is going. If I decide to read the series, I will just go and read them on the Kindle. Another one is also an impulse buy. Actually, both of them are, so we'll just do them together, because I never read them either. Oh God. And that is Filthy Rich Fae. I solely bought this because obviously them edges, bro. It was really pretty. It was like a yellow floral. Orange is my favorite color. If I can't find orange, yellow is the close second, and this was just stunning, you know. I never read it. I've heard great things about it, but like, was it something I was going to read right now? No, not with the catalog of books I had gotten and then needed to make room for. So out she goes. And the next one was Can't Spell Treason Without T. My bestie read this. She said it was okay. It does have pretty edges. This was when I was like trying to get pretty edges before I really had any. And now I've gotten super particular. That's another story for another day, but I never read this. And I know there's another one out. I think it has orange edges or like a rust color. I could be wrong. Anyways, it sounds like a cute story. It sounds like a cute story, but I'm just going to read it on an e-reader when I'm ready to read it. Bewitched. I was given this book from a friend of mine who was dehauling a bunch of books, and I know there's another book that's come out. I just never read it. I just didn't read it, and I wanted to make room. So that's the point of the video we're at. We're discussing my money spending problems. The next one is one that I totally intend to read, and I want a physical copy of it. However, I bought this before the new edition came out when it got traditionally published. And I don't know that I love the book enough, because there are books I have where I have like the indie covers, but then I also went and bought the like published editions because I love those books so much. I haven't read this yet, and I just haven't gotten to it, but that is How Does It Feel by Janine O'Reilly. This is the OG cover, the indie cover. The new cover is really pretty, and it matches the second book and the third book, and so I think I'm just gonna get rid of this copy and buy the newer edition. I don't know. Vicious. I heard that this is a very morally black male main character, and while I love a good dark spicy romance, I'm trying to cut back on how dark we're getting, and I just don't know that I want to deal with him. And also there's a lot of books in this series, and I was given this one and they just keep coming out, and I just did not want to buy all of them physically, so I downloaded it on my e-reader. I will read it there and decide if I like it, but until then it's leaving the shelf. The next one is a book that I got a second copy of. In fact, it is the little yellow beehive behind me. I don't know if you can see that, but that's Honey Witch. I want to read this so bad. I have not read this yet, because look at this. This just is the epitome of comfort and cozy and witchy and everything else good in this world on the cover. But my friend gifted me the Fairy Loot edition, and so this one is going to go find a new home, and I'm going to keep the Fairy Loot edition. We'll call these I Was Heavily Influenced. And the reality is I am never a contemporary romance. Even for a holiday, even for a season. I don't care. I don't care about your comfort and cozy and your cushiony romance. So that is the Cinnamon Bun Store, the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, and the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. This just screams Hallmark movie in a book, and I am just not a Hallmark movie kind of gal. Don't let these kitsch sweaters fool you guys. I'm just not that girl. So they're going to go to a girl who loves these, because it's not me. The next two are ones that I'm kind of on the fence. I may end up keeping them. I don't know. But for now, they went away to make room. Okay? That was the name of the game. If it's been here for over 6 months and I have not felt inclined to read it, it had to go. You know? It had to go. So that is Her Soul to Take and Her Soul for Revenge. This is the Souls trilogy by Harley LaRue. I love her. I follow her on just about every one of her platforms. I love her political awareness. I love her stance on things. I love her personality, her jokes, her sense of humor, and I probably love these books, which is why I don't know that I want to get rid of them, but they've been sitting here for so long that I just, you know, it's kind of like when you got things in your closet that you pull out that you've had for over a year and it still has tags. Like, that's got to go, babes. It's got to go. So I may keep them. I don't know. I'm on the fence, but for now they're going. The next one is also a book that I do intend to read. However, there are like way too many books in the series. There just are. And I just didn't want that many books to commit to taking up space if I'm not going to entirely love the whole series. So Neon Gods by Katie Roberts. I've heard this is very schmutty, and this is Greek mythology, and I love Greek mythology, and I love it with a little schmut. So I'd probably love this. I just don't want to buy all 11 books of the series that much, unless I absolutely adore it. So we're gonna read it on the Kindle. You know the drill. And if we love it, then we may decide to buy trophies and physically buy the rest of them. I don't know, but for now, it's going on the e-reader. Last but not least is a series that I bought at the beginning of the year last year, and that was when I had first started my book talk, and I was like, it was around that time, and I was like, I need more physical books. I had a teeny tiny little cute little bookshelf, and there were barely any books on it, and I heard everyone raving about this series, and that is The Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And I've not read it. I've not even felt the least bit interested in reading it, even though there's like a show or a series or a movie about it. No, I haven't even watched that. That's how uninterested. I think it was just I was trying to buy books that were talked about because I was trying to make content that people would watch. And we have since learned better from that. And now we're going to read books we want to read and make content about those books. And people will either love that content and find new books to read, or they won't. But buying books because they're just hyped is just not my forte anymore. So they're going to go to someone who will love them. My daughter actually may love them. She's kind of merging over to the YA genre. So I'll have to kind of review these though first. But anyways, that's it. That was a lot. That was 25 books. Okay. And the way that I thought that I would have empty space, I did not have any empty space. I took all 25 of these books off this shelf, double stacked multiple rows, meaning I had a row of books and then a row of books for like 3 or 4 of these shelves, and still walked away with no extra room. So that is why going forward to 2025, I've been super particular about what books I will be physically buying. I do have 2 subscription boxes currently. Just got Fairy Loot, so I have that. I think it's the YA and the adult. And then I have Illumicrate, which I'll probably be ending soon because I'm trying to save the money, the coin, you know? I'm trying to open a bookstore, and I can't be sitting here spending all this money that could be going into that. So I do get those monthly. And then other than like special occasions or here and there as a treat yourself, I ain't doing a whole lot of physical book buying this year. Cutting back. I don't really have room for it at the moment. I need to read through more of the TBR. I have read about 40% of this bookshelf, so, and considering almost all of it was bought in the last 13, 14 months, that's great. I'm proud of myself, but 25 of these had to go, you know? That was just had to make room for the 25 more that I got. All right, that's all. Thank you for coming and seeing what I'm doing in my great de-hauling. I hope this encourages you to go and declutter your own bookshelves. Because if it's been there for 6 months to a year and you ain't interested in it, move on. Especially if you got an e-reader. Read it on the e-reader. And then if you love it, I'm all for book trophies. I'm not against a book trophy, okay? I'm not. Anyways, hope you're all having a great day. Bye!